Hi, we're here to talk about today why you should take proving yourself off your to-do list. When we are proving ourselves and trying to prove that we're good enough to our boss, the stakeholders, our business partners, our parents, ourselves, our energy gets all squiffy. You tend to overgive, over-advise, take on actions that might not necessarily be meant for you. It affects your delegation. And you can actually then become quite overwhelmed because you're doing so much. And ultimately, then you'll start to perform worse because you've got too much on your plate. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that your brain tells you a story that you're not good enough and you need to prove yourself, and then you prove that story right. So when we take proving ourselves off the to-do list and start to shift the energy out of self-doubt into self-trust, everything changes. You start to change the way that you operate. You start to change the way that you make decisions. You're able to focus on the right things and produce better quality ideas and work, which will shift how you're feeling about yourself, how others are feeling about you, and you become more trusted, and you shift your reputation from being known as a doer to an expert in your field. So I like to think of yourself as a gardener, looking after your work, your department. Think of yourself as a gardener who tends to the plants. You're making sure that the plants get the right sunlight, the right care, the right water, all at the right times of year. When you're nurturing the plants and calmly looking around what they need and where you need to focus, you'll start to see where the gaps are, where the weeds are, where things need to be pulled out. You're focusing on caring for the garden. It will bloom and naturally become a beautiful thing. However, if you are focused on having the best garden and getting approval for your garden and competing against other gardens, your energy is focused more outward and more external. And you will start to miss what actually needs to happen, and the plants will start to suffer. And this is the rub, right? When we're constantly trying to prove ourselves, is that the output is affected. So when I'm working with my one-to-one clients and my guys in the Project Rise program, when we focus on this, we look at three things. The first one is to rewire the habits of your mind daily. We have been conditioned as young people to prove ourselves. You know, it's a result of the parents, school, trying to get jobs, society in general. We've got to kind of show what we can do. And that's helpful to a point when we're little, but not so helpful when you're grown up. And so we really need to change the story by noticing when we are in fear, because proving ourselves is good enough is actually a fear of rejection. So we want to notice that when we are feeling this fear, and pivot to faith. Pivot to faith in our experience and our expertise. And we can do this by consistently focusing on shifting from one place to another. And when we are in a place of, I am valuable for who I am, we will deliver better work. So what I want you to do is write down on a piece of paper the people who you are trying to prove yourself to. Who are they? Is it yourself? Is it, who is it in your world? Who are you trying to prove yourself to? Write down those names and then write, I commit to trying a new approach. And then the first step is to forgive. Forgive yourself for the misunderstanding that you need to prove yourself. So write that down. I forgive myself for the misunderstanding that I needed to prove myself. And then write, I am valuable for who I am. I am an expert in my field. You were given this job or you're doing this work because you have expertise, and write the new story. Okay, I am an expert in X, Y, and Z. I want you to do that daily. Number two is Then you need to choose 2 or 3 priorities that you're going to focus on. If it can just be one priority, that's even better. Choose 2 or 3 priorities that align with the company vision and make sense for your department to be delivering, and that you know that if you were to do these would really shift and change the game. Choose your priorities, agree them with your boss if you need to, and then focus everything around those. The third thing is to set those boundaries and to say, is this aligned with the vision? Is this aligned with the priorities? And you'll very quickly be able to start noticing what is a hell yes to say yes to and what is a hell no for you and your team. You will then start to be more streamlined. But it all starts with stopping proving yourself and believing in your expertise. What if you were to know that you were valuable and you were to just change how you operated? Not fear of rejection, but a faith in that you are valued for who you are. So this is not easy because it's about rewiring thought patterns that have been in your mind since you were very, very small. And it is possible through repetition and really focusing and being intentional on this. In my Project Ride program, we focus on this, and the leaders that I work with get amazing at pivoting from fear to faith in their expertise swiftly in the moment. And so if you want support in that, drop me a message and we can organise a Rise Up call to talk about how this will help you in your career.